All right, there we go. I had a little technical difficulty getting off the ground. I appreciate everybody waiting around for the technology. Y'all know me in technology. All of which is to say, welcome one and welcome all to the Junk Shop Library channel. We are here for Mental Health Thursdays today, where we talk about a variety of mental health related and adjacent topics, swap tips and tricks and coping mechanisms, and just generally hang out and relax and decompress, because the world is stressful right now. You may have heard. Well, today we're going to talk about, I know this will come as a tremendous surprise to you given the incredibly subtle title of the stream. We're going to talk about trans stuff. So all of the usual content warnings apply, and a little bit more so than usual today. I should specify going into it that I am in no way, shape, or form a mental health professional. If you're looking for a professional perspective, you're more than welcome to stay, but I'm not going to be able to provide that for you. I'm going to try to moderate my language today. This is going to be a little different from the normal furious cussing up the storm atheist content that we usually produce here on the channel. So I'm gonna try to be respectable. Wow, that was a long introduction. I'm Junk Shop. I run the Junk Shop Library channel, to which you have found your way through some quirk of the internet. I'm a non-binary atheist YouTuber. I go by they, them pronouns, and I run this. Welcome. I'm a little nervous. I'm not entirely sure why. Mental Health Thursdays, we kind of crack open the lid. I want to thank you all for joining me. I see quite a few folks filling up the chat. It's wonderful to see you all. We did recently, I had somebody ask me once about the Romanian flag, so I should clarify. We did recently pass International Pansexual Awareness Day, I think was how it was technically titled. And in addition to fully supporting pansexuality and pansexual awareness, I myself am a member of the pansexual community. So welcome, and that's what the bright colors are. Some of them. Thank you very much to Godless Granny for the fantastic pride scarf. It's very warm. All right. Well, why am I doing this? You may well wonder. Well, my partner and I were watching a recent Eddie Izzard video on the YouTubes last night, and he was talking about his coming out experience and his story and his activism, and I realized that other than coming out as non-binary back in March, I hadn't really done much of that myself, and I figured the time had probably come. especially in these days when people like Ben Shapiro are letting their ignorance flag fly a little higher than normal. Oh, thank you, Randolph. I'm a big fan of it. Now, having said that, I sort of decided this would be a good idea, and hadn't. It's not like I got a script or anything. Julie's good with the scripts. Yours truly, not so much, as some of y'all well and truly know by now. I myself am a late adopter of the trans label. It took a while and some listening to folks who are significantly older and wiser than I, for me to really feel like I belonged under that umbrella. I'm 36. I was late coming out as non-binary. I was late coming out as pansexual. I was late coming out as an atheist. I was late coming out as a multitude of things. Credit where credit is due. I don't know that I'd be out now if it hadn't been for dag nabbit. Hang on. I got to get the name of the channel right, because otherwise I'm not going to give that credit where credit is due, and I prefer to do that. Transgarter. The Transgarter channel did a wonderful interview with the artist, author, musician, activist, and just all-around amazing person, Christy Abbey, on their channel back in the spring. And she was telling her story about coming out back in the day when the world was even less friendly. Thank you, Amiga Nuts. Dropping the links in the chat. My friend with the links is always there for us. I appreciate you. And I kind of came to the realization that, by God, if she can do it back then under circumstances like that, and if you hadn't seen that interview, it's well worth watching. I could do it now. And so back around, right about around the time the whole world jumped in the crapper and yanked on the chain, back in March or April, I think it was, I came out, and as I said, I didn't consider myself falling under the trans umbrella right away, but then a couple of people whose knowledge and opinion I respect, sort of explained to me very, very gently, and I'm not going to name names, but explained to me very gently that as essentially all, as far as they were concerned, essentially all you have to do to fall under that umbrella is not be, well, cis, which I myself am not. And so here we are. Thanks, Sassy. Godless Granny made that for me with her amazing skill. Speaking of credit where credit is due, and it's just coffee. Don't worry. I know I'm a little scattered and don't really have a fantastic through line right now, but I'm just kind of, and I'm going to turn to the chat periodically and ask, yeah, see, thank you. So much lovely Microraptor. So much more succinctly than I managed to do. Thank you for that, my friend. I've had it relatively easy in my coming out process, honestly. I hadn't taken a lot of pushback either online or in real life. Now, of course, we've been under lockdown essentially ever since. So there's that. Y'all pardon any weird noises you hear from outside the window. They're still doing the construction out in the parking lot. And great as my power is, I have no power over the construction. Non-binary, yes. Cheers. Nice to meet you. So glad you found us. New friend of the channel, Miss Fran. Or Fran, I'm sorry. Southern reflexes die hard, y'all. God damn. See, I'm not even good at it. So yeah, I've had a relatively good experience so far in terms of interpersonal interaction. Now, inside my head, it has not always been so great. Some of y'all know hang on, I see a question. Let's see, Randolph says, I see this. Yes, definitely. Let me pull that up real quick. Randolph is a friend of the channel and a dear friend of many channels. Says, I see this as people being honest about who they feel they really are. Indeed. And I think it's important that trans is supported in society. What are your thoughts about it? Right. Indeed. Very much so. Oh, here goes the chat. I've lost my... There we go. Y'all are awesome. Yes. It's very important that folks of whatever gender, sexuality, what have you, be supported by society. And hopefully we'll get there one day. Some of y'all know that I have struggled in the past and struggle still, not as much as I did in the past, thankfully, with a small but interesting constellation of I can't even say it, of eating disorders. That and associated body image issues have contributed a great deal to what I now know is the dysphoria I have felt for a long time. Well, I say long time. Proportional to my lifespan. I hope none of y'all identify with what I'm talking about. I really and truly do. It's not fun. I was talking to Julie last night. I've been in I almost said in a funk. I've been in a fairly major depressive episode the last little while. And we've talked about depression here on the channel more than once in the past. It's a topic very near and very dear to my heart. And one of the ways in which that tends to manifest itself for me is that I tend to lose all motivation to do anything. One of those things is self-maintenance. I realized yesterday it had been altogether too long since I took a shower or shaved. Now, thankfully, I've got a nice little clock here now. The Shampoo Savers Club, as you pointed out in the chat earlier. Somebody did. Who was that? Dang it. I didn't mention I'm nervous, right? Okay, good. This is the first time I've really sat down and talked with y'all about this. I come to understand. And I've talked about the, I've talked about my depression. I've talked about my anxiety. I've talked about my eating disorders. I've talked about my panic attacks. I hadn't talked about my dysphoria here on the channel before. And again, I hope none of y'all know what I'm talking about. But if you do, cheers. The major way it manifests for me, and I've heard other people talk about this as well, so I know it's not just some weirdness I have created that is unique unto me, is I'm very uncomfortable with hair. Always have been. Ever since I started having body hair, I've been uncomfortable with hair. I remember being a kid and not understanding why some of my friends had body hair and some of them didn't. None of the girls seemed to have body hair. I was a little sheltered, just a little bit. Oh dear. Dave's gonna grow a ponytail. I used to have a ponytail back in the day. It was only about yay long. Any interesting thing you can do with head hair, I've done. Except for a mohawk. I've never done a mohawk. Don't have any hair back here. You understand? I like what Purple says here. I don't think we can. I'm sorry. I'm trying to balance interacting with the chat live as over against this being, something that can be revisited. Whoops, where'd it go? There it is. There's a conversation going on in the chat about the pros versus cons of just sort of trashing gender altogether and just saying humor. There's part of me that kind of likes that idea. But Purple says, I don't think we can get rid of gender, but we should get rid of the social expectations of gender. And I agree. I was trying to roll straight back a little to center myself in the camera more and ended up drifting off to the side. Social expectations of gender are weird. And then those of us who are non-binary or gender fluid or anything like that come rolling along and people don't know what to expect of us. Let's see. Hang on. It's one of those butterfly thoughts that y'all know so well of me by now. It landed on my head. I reached up to grab it. It fluttered off down the wind. Microraptor says, I support any non-woman person who wants to wear a dress on a really hot day. Yeah, you ain't kidding. Some days it's just too hot for the denim, and I live in the denim. Let's see. There was a question. Where'd it go? Y'all bear with me. I'm fighting with StreamYard. Yay! Oops. I lost it and I don't remember what it said. Sorry. Y'all, I just completely spaced on what I was trying to say. I'm so sorry. This has got to be riveting. Oh, knee-high and thigh-high boots. Yes, indeed. I'm a big fan of big boots myself. I have entirely too many shoes. Teddy Roosevelt, comment from the chat. When Teddy Roosevelt was a young boy, he wore a dress. Up until the 1930s, it was common for children of both genders to wear them. I did not know that. There's a transition. I see this sentiment floating around Twitter fairly often, but the most recent time I saw it was just a couple of days ago. And it was something along the lines of, stop trying to compliment babies by saying, "Oh, she's going to be a heartbreaker." That kind of creepy ass. It's intended as a compliment, and I know most people mean well. But we put these weird gender expectations, piling them onto children very, very young, super young. Mightn't it be easier, better even, if we didn't? This, wearing all the babies essentially dressing alike up to a certain age. 3, Godless Granny says about the Roosevelt era. Yeah, exactly. Fran points out girl used to be a generic term for a child a few centuries back and not a gendered term. I did not know that. I did not. I knew we used to have non-gendered terms for young'uns, but I didn't know that was. I think this one's going to be short because I sort of vented a little, but I don't know where to go from here, to be perfectly honest. I should have written out bullet points. Yep, I should have done. How about y'all in the chat? What's going on? How are y'all doing? I know I kind of glossed over and through the chat the first little while, but y'all who are here with me live, how are y'all? How's everybody doing this fine Thursday afternoon, evening, early ass morning, whatever it is, wherever y'all are? Let's see. Purple suggests maybe treating anyone as gender neutral, at least until puberty. I like that. I like that a lot. Let's just be awesome and loving for a bit, says Microraptor. I like that. Let's do that. Here we are. We got people dancing. That's awesome. Oh, Godless Granny's feeling nervous. I'm so sorry. Anything in particular or anything you want to share? Sorry to hear that. I'm oof. Fran says I was told often that you're a girl, wear a dress. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I I was never particularly good at sticking with the expected gender behavior norms when I was a kid. I never did figure out how men were supposed to sit and or stand. Never did get it right. Come to find out, it's because I wasn't one. I'm a non-binary person. So there you go. If only I had known. Right? How many times have you said that in your life? If only I had known. Always hated leading in dances. I guess that was a hint. I could go either way. I was good at it's adequate at leading and following. Like you said, maybe that should have been a hint. Oh, Mark, that sounds rough. Trying to beat a record at work. That's not great. Critical cripple. I'm glad you're doing better than yesterday. That's all we can really hope for, isn't it? Better than yesterday. Can't say more now. Okay, understood. Understood. Yeah, Purple says, I was told wearing a dress was supposed to be humiliating for a boy, but internally, I never got that. Yeah, I never did either. I was like, but they're comfortable. Comfortable? Yeah, I didn't grow up in the South at all. Comfortable. There was something else I was either going to tell y'all or ask y'all or bounce off of y'all. I'm going to stall for a second while I try to figure out what in the world it was. I do want to thank all my new subscribers while I'm stalling. We just broke the 250 mark, so we will be honestly celebrating the 250 subscriber celebration down on the 20th, and I hope y'all can join me. Harmonica Man, that's awesome. You don't have to relate, my friend. Accept everyone and play harmonica. That's fantastic. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Bring a little joy into the lives around you. Accept everyone. I don't think any of us can hope for anything more than that. If I can put that on my tombstone someday, I'll be fine. What if more people lived thinking that way? Accept everyone, bring a little joy, aim to have that on their tombstone. I think we'd all be going just fine. Oh, and Little Wolf's Den just broke the 50 mark. Fantastic. Mark Caesar says, I dressed in a skirt one night. New Year's Eve. Sorry, took me a minute. I got there. And dressed in a toga once for a fancy dress party. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, I see all the hearts in the chat. Everybody's dropping colorful hearts in the chat. I love it. If you stuck with me this long, you either like the conversation or you're immensely bored. Either way, I appreciate you sticking around with me. We're going to wrap it up here pretty soon. I feel myself kind of running out of steam, and I don't want to wear out my welcome too hard. I'm going to pull this up, though. That is an excellent sentiment as well. Don't judge people for what they're like on the outside. I love people for whom they are on the inside. Indeed. If you're new to the channel, stick around. We do Mental Health Thursdays every Thursday, same time, 3 p.m. Central, unless something like Thanksgiving comes up and throws a wrench in the works. Holidays have been known to trip us up a little. In terms of the normal squawking atheist content that most of y'all know me for, we'll be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. We're still stuck in the book of Isaiah, but we had singing zombie army last time, so who knows what crazy we'll encounter tomorrow. And if you're a member of the Patreon support team, we will be having a stream of some kind at 12:30 Eastern on Saturday. Hadn't quite figured out what we're going to do yet, but we'll do something. I do normally have a crawler to thank the patrons, but I wasn't quite sure how deep, how dark, how weird this stream was going to go, and I didn't want to attach anybody's name who, who didn't necessarily sign on for it, because I wasn't sure what if I wasn't going to just break down here with y'all, to be perfectly honest. It could have gone bad. I'm so glad it didn't. And thank you all so much for being here with me live. Oh, Mark Caesar just got the notification for this stream. What is going on, YouTube? You're killing me. What are you doing? All right. Well, that makes like the 6th time I've said I think we're going to wind up and wrap up and wind down. So it's time to go ahead and do that. As we always say before we roll out of here, everybody take care. Be safe. Stand against hate. And we'll see you again soon.